Firewall Ultra VR Studio First Contact Entertainment announces closure. First Contact Entertainment, the team behind VR games like 2018's Firewall, Zero Hour, and this year's Firewall Ultra on PSVR 2, has announced its closing, as reported by Giamatsu. After almost 8 years as a studio, it will shut down at the end of the year. It, it cites a lack of VR support within the industry. After almost 8 years of working with the most amazing team I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of, I'm sad to announce that we will be closing our company First Contact Entertainment by the end of the year. A Facebook post from the company reads, "The lack of support for VR within the industry has eventually taken its toll. As a AAA VR game developer, we are just not able to justify the expenses needed going forward. We are a team of fearless innovators willing to push new technologies to its limits. I'm extremely proud of the team and grateful to our investors, our partners, and of course, our community of dedicated and passionate players. It's been a wild ride. Thank you." The hearts of Game Informer staff are with everyone affected by the studio closure. Um, there are comments. That sucks. I love Zero Hour, but heard Ultra came out rough. Hope everyone lands on their feet. Told you VR is a fad. It still has a core audience. The problem is that consumers largely don't want to buy in without enough content, and corporations don't really have an incentive to leap in. Um, what do you think of this studio closing, this VR studio, game studio?
It sucks. So I don't think they weren't the ones behind Rick and Morty, but the Rick and Morty VR game. I mean, that already brought a lot of people to play the VR systems and all. So that's like 2, 3 years ago, maybe. So it's way before the events happened of what happened with Rick and Morty, with the sexual harassment claims, with the domestic violence claims of the creator of Rick and Morty and all. But other than that, it's no, I've always wanted to get involved with VR myself, but I don't have the money for it right this second. It's too expensive after a while. I mean, I already spent $500, almost $1,000 on consoles, the game, the memberships, and all. Like the VR should be like an add-on, yes, and also an additional hardware. But that's another what? Not even at least $1,000 right there. So it's kind of
It's
like,
at least
you
like
know,
$500. Yeah,
if you want a decent VR set.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's the
and
thing. The VR thing. It's again, you made something that is so insanely expensive. Most people can't afford. Most people couldn't afford it to begin with. And now with this recession that we're in, even many more people can't afford it. So it's kind of like the writing was on the wall. Why'd you make something that only so few people could afford? VR is a
mhm.
nice idea, it's a nice pipe dream, but at the same time, if the technology is so expensive that many people can't buy it, you you're really your audience is a niche audience. I mean, not many people. I mean, it's hard. I mean, people somehow are able to afford, the $500 PS4 and Xbox Ones when it first came out and everything. But and then even during COVID when the PS5 and Xbox Series came out. But it's like at least another $500 on top of that, if not even more than that, for VR. Um, yeah, I just think it's something that so few people can afford. That's why there wasn't much support for it.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
really
you make,
sucks.
I mean, if we all had all that kind of money, maybe it would have gotten more, but even that'd be questionable. Because even if we could afford it, everyone could afford it, how many people would want it?
Yeah. Hell, if we go back 30 years ago, in 1980s and all, there was a system that was the Game Boy or Super Nintendo systems called um, the Virtual Boy and all, or the
The
Virtual
Virtual Boy.
Boy.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was sold for about less than $200. I heard as of lately. So I'm like, okay, that's not bad at first. I mean, if you had parents that could buy it for you, but we were just kids back then. So even that market was so small enough to expand on, you know?
Yeah, but Virtual Boy also, well, the Angry Video Game Nerd covered basically all the games that were ever made for Virtual Boy. Um, so if you want like a detailed history, you can check out the Nerd episode on that. because he reviewed like every single game. He reviewed like 10, 15 games, and he goes, "This is the entire Virtual Boy library."
Oh wow.
He said like there was plans for like a cable to come out that could link two Virtual Boys together, so two people could play like multiplayer games uh, with one another. But the system died so quickly that that cable never came out.
Mm.
So yeah, so it's unfortunately, I think it's just people couldn't afford people can't really afford VR. At least not many people can. Um, and unfortunately, this company just I'm surprised they were around 8 years to be honest.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Because we had VR back in as well as 2013 for the Xbox One and PS4 and all. Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 4 and all. So
yep. But unfortunately, hopefully those employees can find a new job. But I don't think VR. I don't think it's a problem that VR is a fad. I think it's just too expensive to get enough people that could support it as ongoing thing.
yeah, and you can't afford $1,000 every year or two just to buy a new updated VR set, you know?
Right.
Especially if it's every year, every 5 years, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Because you gotta also worry about the consoles that you buy too, the PS4, Xbox One, and now PS5 and PS4, Xbox Series X and S and all. So yes, those prices went down a bit during the holiday season. Now you can buy it for $450 if it's on off $50 off, whatever. That's not bad, but still, that's still expensive, you know.
Yeah. And not everyone can drop that. You
Yeah,
have to think twice about it. Even with the great job I have, I can't drop that much. But then again, I have bills to pay. Power bill, cable bill, water bill. So,
student loans.
well, I never took out student loans.
Well, lucky you. Student loans follow me. I will admit that. So yeah, now
Yeah.
I gotta spend at least 15 years to pay that off for my life.
Yeah. I wonder with student loans, can't you just say screw it? I'm not paying these anymore and just let them do what they're gonna do?
Well, here's the thing though. As a student loan, as a person who's low income and student loans and all, I can continuously forbear for the rest of my life if I want to. But for the sake of like credit related matters, like credit score and all of that stuff, I gotta pay something into it in order to pay, get a higher credit score.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like 499 last year or early this year, and now I'm 553 because I've been paying off the student loans for the last couple of months now,
Yeah,
and also
yeah.
other bills too. So
And if last time I checked, this was like 2007, 2008, like uh your credit score is crap if it's like less under 650.
oh yeah.
So like if you're under 650, your credit score is not good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I understand that now.
Now, and I want to take out a loan one day to start doing my inventions, is the whole that I've been thinking and contemplating for years now. And I don't want to say it publicly out loud, but let's just say that I have some ideas and thoughts that are very simple, but also it requires a lot of money to put into it by various companies. So it's you know
Did you ever consider crowdfunding for these inventions?
I don't have the resources for that stuff, and it's hard to keep up. I don't have the detailed product in front of me right now,
Oh,
so
okay.
I have to use like companies like Invent Help in order to provide the physical manifestation of that product. And
Gotcha.
patents of it too. So
Okay.
yeah, they help you Invent Help to patent the product and also to solidify your project.
Right.
Probably over cost requires money, like what $1,000 here, $5,000 there. Depends on
Yep.
what phase you're in.